Hello everyone, this is Morpheus, and we're back for part 2 of the weapon display. So, let's get right to it, shall we? We left off at the demon's great hammer. So let's pick back up, shall we? Alright, so, dragon tooth. A giant dragon tooth used as a great hammer, as solid as a boulder. The tooth is said to be taken from a dragon, but the truth of this claim, the truth The truth, the truth of this claim is unclear. What is certain is that it bears some mystical power, and its wielder gains resistance to magic and fire. Winged spear, or winged spear if you're of the European persuasion. A spear with winged lugs, longer than standard spears, allowing for attacks from further away. Thrusting attacks are effective even against opponents with high defense, but they have a narrow point of contact and won't effectively break through a shielded defense. Partisan, a spear with a broad blade. The blade is widened and given extra weight to allow for slashing. The broader attacks of the partisan, however, make it less effective in narrow spaces. Silverback spear. A silver black spear endued with the power of darkness. The grave wardens vow to ensure the tranquility of those who slumber in the undead crypt. If one dares disturb them, the grave wardens make no allowance for stature or riches, and will readily bury them along with the others. Silverback spear. Oh, hide spear. A spear originating in hide. A special alloy makes it very durable. The composition of the alloy of these spears remains a mystery, but in Dragon Leg, the attempt to imitate it resulted in dissimilar brain steel. Dragon Slayer Spear, another boss weapon. A ransure forged from the soul of the old Dragon Slayer. The spear of the night known as the Dragon Slayer was imbued with the power of lightning and shattered the stone scales of dragons. Strong attacks unleash its latent power. Effect lightning, special attack. Figure I will actually show that real quick. It's pretty cool. So this is a normal attack. And this is a special attack. See, shoots lightning. And as you can see, it goes quite far in the same thing if you use both hands. Normal attack. And then what's it? A special attack. Or strong attack. In fact, I think I'll keep this for the rest of the video. Anybody who watched the ones before will notice that I'm wearing a different outfit. This is the Judgment set. And I just was in an interesting mood, so I decided to throw it on. Alright, Gargoyle biting. A two-pronged spear that imitates a weapon mentioned in an ancient text. Gargoyles are said to guard castles and forts from ill fortune, and they have appeared in many forms in all the great lands throughout history. Some of them are so meticulously crafted that they look as if they might come to life. often do in this game. Lucerne, a halberd characterized by a sharp beaking spike. This weapon is swung down upon foes like a pickaxe, utilizing its own weight and a powerful attack. Can break through a shielded guard and deal damage. Scythe, a scythe fitted with a large custom blade, has an extended slashing reach when swung broadly, but beware, these attacks make the wielder very vulnerable. Halberd. Halberds are combinations of axes and spears, with unique bladed tips rather. Can be used in spear-like thrust attacks or in axe-like sweeping attacks. The halberd challenges a warrior's skills, but can be a very effective weapon when its two functions are applied properly. Santier's Spear, a spear that was embedded in stone statue. According to an old local legend, a great spear was used to defeat Santier, the walking statue. Perhaps this is that very spear, but it will be difficult to utilize such a thing in the manner of a spear. Your only choice is to swing it around and smite foes about the head. Now this spear is special in this game because, as you see, it's connected to stone, and when you attack with it, it's heavy. But once you break it by hitting items until the durability goes down to 0, then it will turn into its true function, and it is pretty awesome when you use it like that. So, just thought I'd mention that for anybody interested in actually playing. Alright. Dragon Rider's Halberd. Halberd of the Dragon Riders. King Vendrick's Royal Guard. A highly versatile weapon that can slash, sweep, and thrust when wielded nimbly, and is also imbued with magic. Demands great skill of his wielder, and thus serve to test the worthiness of those who aspire to join the Dragon Riders. Old Knight Halberd, an undated halberd, wielded by a warrior from a time so ancient that there exists no record of his endeavors. Has extremely low durability because it's so old. Sometimes just as the thing falls to pieces, it unleashes its last flash of great power. And all old knight weapons will say that at the end, if you haven't noticed. Black Knight Halberd. Halberd wielded by knights who served the Lord of Light in a long forgotten age, aka the last game. Even after their flesh was charred by flame, they remained as strong as ever and stood watch, challenging visitors to their land. This weapon was my favorite weapon in the last game. I know I'm showing almost every weapon, but this weapon was my favorite weapon in the last game, and I used it for a very, 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 very long time. I liked it much better in that game. The moveset has changed drastically, but I love this weapon. And if you look at it, it's see if we can get a good decent angle at least. Okay, I can't tell very much from here, but you can see it's very, very ornate. And weapon to me. Roaring halberd. Halberd forged from the soul of a skeleton lord, imbued with the power of dark. The unsettling skull carved into this halberd recalls the final moments of the skeleton lord from whom it was created. Bone scythe. Scythe, forged from the soul of the covetous demon. The curved spine of the covetous demon is as hard as a rock, and rather than slicing through flesh, this weapon seems to grind it apart. That thing that ended up as a monstrous fiend, what was it to begin with? And why did it never leave the queen? Perhaps it was entranced by some perversion of love. Grand Lanced. A lance fashioned from rare guy steel, designed for high-ranking Drangleic knights. Hence the decorative design. Guy steel equipment is of the finest make, but guy steel is so rare that very few of these weapons were actually used in combat. Twin blade. The twin blade fashioned from guy steel, designed for high-ranking Drangleic knights. Hence the decorative design. Guy steel equipment is of the finest make, but guy steel is so rare that few are actually used in combat. Now, there's a couple more twin blades, so I'm going to read those descriptions and show you what they do, because they're awesome to look at. Stone twin blade. Twin blade of the castle stone soldiers. Sir Velstad could always be found at the king's side, and followed him when he fled. The knights in his service waited patiently for his return, but turned to stone before he did. Dragon Rider Twin Blade. Twin blade of the Dragon Riders. King Vendrick's Rogar. Twin blades are wielded with an unusual technique. This one strikes hard, but is very heavy. Demands great skill of his wielder, and thus serve to test the worthiness of those who aspire to join the Dragon Riders. So this is the Dragon Rider one. They all pretty much have this moveset, but check it out. That is pretty cool and much different than what you get from most weapons. It's like a bow staff almost, except for, you know, blades and stuff. And I just think it's really cool. Check it out too. This one in particular, you see that ornate design, and I think that's awesome. So I guess that's what we're beholding. All right. Whip. A leather whip. Not normally used on a battlefield. Very effective against bare flesh, but not against enemies with armor or light protection. Claws. A weapon that attaches to the hands. The wearer attacks in a scratching motion with these three-pronged claws. Claws inflict deep wounds and cause bleeding, like Wolverine. Malformed claws. One of the malformed weapons developed in Althea appears to be a crustacean pincer, but its precise origins are unclear. Use strong attack to inflict damage, even upon foes with raised shields. The peculiar figure known as Lord Althea attempted to uncover the secrets of life itself, and viewed the undead as the key to this mystery. Mannequin claws. Claws used by the mannequins of Harvest Valley. The peculiar art of puppetry is a vestige of the two lost lands. The queen Use it to beckon unknowing souls to the defiled valley. Work hook. A hook that covers the hand. Clearly not intended as a weapon, but certainly sharp enough to shred an enemy's skin. Cestus. Weapon used to strike with one's fist. The thick leather covering bears iron studs and protects the hands while augmenting their striking power. Attacks with fists are solely dependent on one's strength. With this weapon, any encounter becomes a brawl. Alright, and now we have reached the spellcasting items, as well as shields. I know I said last video that I would finish up that and the rest, but since I've stopped, it has kind of cut the time. So rather than rush through the rest, I'll make the rest in another video. And probably have a costume change again, because I do that. So for everybody watching, thank you. Give this video a like, subscribe if you want to see more, stay up to date on these, and as always, thank you, and see you later, guys.